someone would actually struggle to make sense of the actions the women take to return to their abusers, their first husbands, and the men who forced them to have children with them. But some of the cases that I've witnessed or heard of in northern Uganda, or the women that I've actually worked with, because I've been working with them all these years, sometimes it's so hard for us who were not inside the rebel captivity to understand the dynamics of what went on over the 8 years or 10 years or 5 years a woman stayed there. I worked with a professor to do a lot of documentation of what happened inside an LRA camp. And if you get into imagine the camp, what really happened from hearing the stories of the women, you would try to actually draw some connections that, okay, perhaps over time when she spent with this abuser, she developed some kind of liking for this abuser. But again, the community back home would immediately judge her. How can you love or fall in love with your, perpetrator, someone who abducted you and forced you to be their wives? But there's this whole, I once had a meeting with some team from the ICC, and I told them that as much as you want to prosecute these commanders, LRA commanders, you need to actually understand circumstances which made the women have some reluctance for their husbands to be prosecuted. And one of the things was about, this whole idea of Stockholm syndrome, having spent so many years, with this person, 10 years, they cease to be an abuser. They become someone you depend on for food, for basic needs. You have children with them. They are now the fathers of your kids, and you're looking towards the future and identity of your children that relies very much on their father. And most times the only alternative some of these women feel is actually to go back to the man to fill in the needs of the children. In a way, actually, they sacrifice their very own needs to be able to meet the needs of the children. One of the women one time told me, maybe around 2010 or 11, she said that because we're trying to ask them about issues around justice, what does it mean to you, and what do you think about this man, and so on, because some of them were given like blanket amnesties in Uganda, the former LRA that returned. And one of the women said that I don't want this guy actually to be prosecuted. And then when we ask why, she's like, it was a straight answer. Who will help me take care of my kids if he's locked behind bars? You see, it's the children that forms the decision that the women make about justice. Like they sacrifice their own, search for justice for the sake of the children. So.